In this lesson, we'll explore how to render metals with hammered, brushed, and Diamantatura surface treatments. As a first step, we're going to copy 3 of the shapes we already made and drag them to this new page. We start with the cylinder, ungroup it, and delete the square. We make our cylinder a bit lower. Then we take the high shine yellow and the opaque white gold balls. Now we select one sphere at a time and scale them up, while pressing the Shift key to make sure that they remain with their round proportions. And we move the shapes into a nice composition. We want the cylinder to be in a horizontal position, so we'll select the rotation tool and turn the shape by clicking on it and rotating it with the mouse while pressing the Shift key, which blocks the rotation to 45, 90, 180 degrees and so forth, helping us to get it straight. With the gradient tool, we're going to tweak the shade a little bit, and this time we'll do it by clicking and dragging the color swatches on the handle. Then we select our spheres and delete the drop shadows. Our next step is to copy the 3 volumes and remove the fill color, leaving only the outline for later. In order for the 3 different surface effects to come out looking nice, we need to set the resolution to a good level. So we select the cylinder and go up to the top menu, click on Effect, and scroll down to Document Raster Effect Settings. In the window that appears, we'll leave all of the default settings, but we make sure that our resolution is set to high 300 ppi, and then we click OK. The surface treatment effects will look better when they're applied to surfaces without an outline, so we'll remove ours. To give the cylinder a brushed surface, we go back up to Effect, scroll down to Texture, and select Grain. In the next window that appears, we'll keep the intensity at 9 and the contrast at 5, and the grain type at horizontal. If we increase the intensity and contrast, this is what happens. But we're going to keep the intensity at 9 and the contrast at 5, which looks more natural. And we'll change the direction of the brushing by setting the grain type to vertical. Now we can take the black outline and put it on top of the brushed rendering. To make the look even more natural, we'll make the outline color gray. And our cylinder is ready. On the yellow sphere, we'll apply our hammered surface. So we select it and go up to Effect, scroll down to Pixelate, and select Crystallize. To set the size of our hammering, we modify the cell size by dragging the white arrow. And click OK. Then we grab the empty circle and place it on top of the sphere. Also for this shape, we're going to make the outline gray. On our second sphere, we're going to apply a Diamantatura effect. We go up to Effect, scroll down to Texture, and select Grain. You can see that the program has remembered the last effect we applied, so we need to change it. At Grain Type, we select Sprinkles. Then we drag the intensity and contrast until we're happy with them. We'll leave them at the intensity of 54 and the contrast at 47, and then we click OK. The effect is still very light because our metal color is light, so we'll make it a bit darker in the gradient area, turning the darkest swatch even darker. Now the ball looks a bit dull, so we go back to grain and set the intensity to 59 and the contrast to 50, and click OK. Then we grab the empty circle, drag it on top of the sphere, and go up to make the stroke color gray. In the texture area, if your shape appears really small, you can just zoom it in like this, clicking on the plus and the minus buttons. Before aligning our shapes to the artboard, we group them and make sure the setting is aligned to artboard. To finish the rendering, we add a drop shadow to the shapes, going to Effects, Stylize, and Drop Shadow. To make the shadow effect a bit different this time, we set the opacity to 75% and leave the offsets to minus 0.13 and 0.13, and the blur to 0.1. To see how it looks, we click on Preview. It looks nice, so we click OK. As a last thing, we're going to add text that explains what surface treatments we've created and in what material. Since we already have text boxes made with the font and the size that we want, we just copy and drag one down and drop it next to the yellow sphere. Then we select the text tool, highlight the letters we want to modify, and type in the new text. And repeat it for the other sphere and the cylinder.